Welcome to Sweden, the land of blondes, surströmming and endless gravel roads. But you cannot go riding just anywhere you like. There's a lot of gravel, but in this guide I'll show you how to do it like a Swede. Going on a gravel adventure in Sweden is fantastic. We have over 350,000 kilometers of gravel roads in Sweden. And more than 50% of the area of Sweden is covered with forests. So if you like going on gravel in forests, this is the place to be. We also have over 3,000 free shelters that you can stay in. So in Sweden you have a lot of freedoms with wildlife and nature and everything, but you also have a lot of responsibilities. And we do that in a specific Swedish cultural way, the way we deal with things. So doing it like a Swede is not just a catchy slogan, there is a way to do that. So in this video, there's a few topics that I'd like to go through with you guys. And those are the web of roads and the different road types that you will encounter and what applies to them. How to navigate in Sweden. I'll show you my favorite apps. I'm a mobile navigator guy, and yeah, I'll show you how I do it at least. And how you find all these shelters that you can stay in, and just the do's and don'ts when you're going through Sweden on an adventure bike. Okay, to show you the different types of roads, I'm going to the government site where you can see everything about each road in Sweden. We have no secrets. Okay, and all the links that you need are of course in the description of this video. So let's start by jumping in to see the road network. Okay, so once on this map, you go to the top drop list and type SLIT, which shows slitlager, which is the road surface. And if I now zoom in a bit here, you will see that something starts appearing. It's red and it's blue. And red means there's some kind of surface on it, and blue means it's gravel. So here you can see that yes, there are some roads with gravel. So if you look a bit closer, you see that you have the cities, of course, a lot of pavement on there. And between the cities, the main roads are red, which is asphalt mostly. But everything in between is gravel. So let's just go into a random place here in Sweden. Up north, go in. Wherever we go, there's gravel. Gravel, 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 gravel. So the asphalt roads, they are kept by the government, the state of course. But if you go on a gravel road, it's most likely that it's a group of people living in the area that needs that road, that also maintains it. The state wants some of those roads to be there also. So there are two types of gravel roads. Those that are funded by the state but kept by the people, so they get funding to maintain it. They have an obligation to keep that road open for everyone. And there are gravel roads that are kept by this group of people, and they have the expenses of maintaining that road. So in Sweden, always remember these two things. It goes for everything you do in nature and everywhere you are. You don't disturb and you don't destroy or make a mess. So when you go on these gravel roads, most of them will actually go through the farmyards and everything, and you will see people, and there will be horses and people and barbecuing and everything. You can go there, but you don't disturb them. You don't go skidding around making noise and making a mess on their road. You're polite, you wave, and when you're gone, there's nothing to tell you've been there. And that goes for camping in nature and everything. And it's about respect to animals, people, and plants or whatever. So what about the law? We don't have many laws about this. It's about respect, as I said, but there are laws. When you're off the bike, you have all the freedom in the world. There's even the law of freedom to roam, which makes you can take your tent, you can wander off into nature. Doesn't matter who owns the land, as long as you don't disturb and you don't destroy things. And that means you can go there, pick berries, mushrooms, and so on, but you don't start cutting down trees and leaving trash or anything. But once you're on the bike, we have a very strict law, actually, which is the off-road law. And that means you cannot go off-road, period. But if the road is made for motor vehicles, for anyone to go on, then you can go there. An official road for four-wheeled vehicles, and those can be really, really small and rugged and foresty like. So there are a lot of those kinds of roads, but you cannot go into the spinach with a motor vehicle in Sweden at all. But remember this, wherever you go in Sweden, even if you have a track from a mate or Trans-Euro Trail or Trans-Sweden Trail or whatever, it's you riding. You cannot, in any circumstances, blame it on someone else that I'm just following this route and you've gone through the lawn in the middle of a family barbecue or whatever. You see a farmer somewhere and he's looking at you and you're coming there in his woods. You wave, you stop, take your helmet off. But if they are mad at you for going there, it doesn't matter if you by law have the right to be there or go there. Don't start an argument. Just listen to them, what they want to say. Bend over and take it like a man and be on your way. Just be polite, because it's not important that you are right. The only important part is that farmer has a road there, he maintains it without support from the government. If you piss him off, even if you have some right to be there, next time you go there, there will be a forbidden sign or a gate or something like that. So just by keeping a respectful and happy mood and be polite, we keep these roads open. Okay, so now let's navigate on the mobile phone in the best way, in my opinion. It's the map source which is important, not if it's mobile or stationary GPS, but I'll show you what I do. So first of all, I use Guru Maps Pro. There are other apps, of course, like Locus Maps and everything. The important part is that they can take custom map sources. So what you do is that you go to custom map source. There's a link in the description, but if you just Google custom map source, you click on that one. It says custom map sources for Guru Maps, but they work for the other map apps too. So here you can see, especially for Scandinavia, you have the Bing Maps and Open Topo Maps, but the interesting part that I like is if you go to Sweden, we have here Hitta Friluft, that's an outdoor map that I like really much, and you also have this one, Lantmäteriets Topografisk. So let's click on this topographical map. You even have the mountain area maps and with detailed paths and tracks and so on. So let's go for this one. Click on that. Yeah. Download that one. And now click on that one. Click open. And then on Guru Maps Pro. Puff. So here are all the different map sources that I have now on Guru Maps. So when I go back to the app, you can see that I have this topographical map, which is really detailed. So this is my area. This is farming country, not forest country that I live in. But you can see the green parts, those are forests. So we can just zoom in here. And what is really nice with this map is that you see, if you see a solid line, that's a gravel road. So you can go there, you can zoom out. Now we only see the gravel roads here. As you can see here, we try to find gravel roads that connect, because as you can see, many of them go out just to some parts in the wood. Some parts of the wood where they gather the timber and everything, so like that. Foresty, the green parts, the further north you go, green is forest. This is just pure forest. And zooming in, again, you see a lot of dead ends, but you find these gravel roads that go through there. So you go to that place, you go on that road. If it's not a forbidden sign or a gate, you just go in there. So zooming in, we can see even houses and even gates. So zooming out there, we see you see the gates here. So you can actually plan for that. It may be open, you don't know that, but there's a gate there. And you have these dotted lines. Dotted lines are made for tractors and forest machines and so on. So, and that's the tricky part, because those dotted lines, the tractor roads, are always 100% private. And in south of Sweden, there's a lot of small land lots that a lot of local farmers, they own and they really guard their stuff. But the further up north you come, the more are the big forest companies which owns huge areas of forest, and they have a lot of gravel roads and forest roads that are not really personally attached to them in that way. So to be on the safe side, stay on the gravel roads. These dotted ones can look like a normal gravel road, and it feels fully okay to go there. And there's no signs, you will leave no trace, but the tricky part with the dashed roads are that they can become smaller and smaller the further you go in them, and you don't really notice, and then suddenly you are on a single track and you try to get out of that, and and then it may happen that you end up in a swamp. As you see, Sweden is gravel paradise, not off-road paradise. Okay, it's camp time. So now we want to go and find the shelter somewhere. And I mentioned there are over 3,000 shelters that you can sleep in. This is the map, and Sweden is behind there somewhere, but it cannot be seen because of all the icons for different shelters all around. These are all free shelters that you can stay in while hiking. So as you can see, there are different kinds of shelters. We have the blue ones, which are without the sleeping quarter. I mean, it's a shelter and normally a fireplace. You can click on them and we can see, for instance, this one, you can normally see images, what it looks like. So there's a small shelter and there's no real room for sleeping and so on. Then you have the yellow ones with a bed. Those are with sleeping quarters, so that there's space to sleep a few. In this one, I'd say you could easily sleep up to 6 or 9 people, depending, like that. But you also have the cool ones, which is the shelter cabin, and that's everything from, let's click on this cabin. You can see it's a real little cabin. Oh, we actually stayed in this one when we went on the up north trip. And click on that one. Real nice small cabins that you can stay in. You don't need to book anything. You just go there. It's unlocked. You go in and stay there. Some may have a little sign. You can leave a contribution if you want, because they are most often privately maintained also. But you just go there, and if there's already somebody there, either you find a new place or you join the company, if that's okay by them. There's truly a lot, and these shelters exist also in Norway and in Finland, and to some extent in Denmark, I think. So there are maps for those also, I think. But yeah, this is the Swedish one, and it goes all the way up north, even though it becomes a little bit more sparse. But that's not all of these are accessible by motorbike. Some of them are in the middle of nowhere, and you have to hike there. But there's a lot of them, and there are actually a lot of motorbikers that update the info on these shelters. So some even say if you can access them by motorbike or not. So some useful tips about riding in Sweden, I guess. You don't have to worry much about fueling. There's gas stations everywhere. I have a 16-liter fuel tank, and that's not a problem. There are apps, and again, Google Maps, you can see all the gas stations. So if you're going on a route which perhaps doesn't have a fuel station, then bring some extra. That's no problem. In Sweden, I personally, even on these adventure trips that I use, I never have cash. I haven't used Swedish cash for many years. So a credit card is always viable if you have to pay anyone with a business. Gas stations, places to sleep, or wherever, if you want to purchase something, even on a market stand, they usually have these mobile credit card. So I would say Visa and MasterCard are those that are most common. If you for some reason need cash, there's an ATM pretty much everywhere, but I never use it. Yeah. So the important parts: come to Sweden, ride gravel, and do it like a Swede, with respect for everything. Do not disturb, and don't make a mess. So I hope this guide enlightened you a little bit and made your next ride through Sweden a little more enjoyable and easy and accessible, perhaps. Thank you for watching. Drop some extra questions in the comments below, and so thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you're not already doing that, and like and hit the bells and everything, because I want to keep serving you with these kinds of videos with the love for adventure bike riding. All right, see you next time. Bye bye.